Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen writing in a letter to Congress that has officially hit our $31 trillion debt limit and that her department would have to begin employing, quote, extraordinary measures to meet the federal government's financial obligations. Yahoo Finance senior columnist Rick Newman ain't buying it. Rick, you generally speaking are not. It seems like Janet Yellen is taking this very seriously, as is Jamie Dimon. We'll get into that later. You think this is mainly political theater? Now, just given the dynamic, given what we saw in the House GOP leadership fight, how can you confidently say that?
It's always political theater. Every single time, and it's always the Republicans who go down this road, and it's always the Democrats who say, we're going to get out of your way, and we're going to let you guys threaten a debt ceiling standoff, threaten a default, because it really doesn't work out politically for Republicans. But here's a simple way to know. Look, both the Democrats have approved too much spending, and the Republicans have approved too many tax cuts for the last, how far back do you want to go? 20 years, 30 years? Really, let's go back 20. And that's why we have, deficits that are just going to continue to go up as far as the eye can see. And also we can get away with it. So this is a big problem for Janet Yellen because she has to solve the problem. She has to manage the money and move money around, shuffle money around so that the Treasury can pay the bills. And this could get ugly before it gets resolved. But it's going to go on and on until the very last second, which is probably going to come around early June.
So, Rick, you mentioned it could get pretty ugly. I guess how ugly could that get? What could the next couple of months look like until we hopefully do get it?
2011 is a template for how ugly it could get. And in 2011, it literally went down to hours before the Treasury Department would be unable to pay some of the bills. And what happened in that period of time? The S&P 500 fell by 17% over the course of a month as we were going through that ordeal. The Standard & Poor's downgraded the U.S. credit rating by one notch. It's still at that lower level. And the stock market did not come back for 6 months. So that's a baseline for how bad it could be this year.
Jamie Dimon said we should never question the creditworthiness of U.S. government. That is sacrosanct. This is not something we should be playing games with at all this morning. Would you like him to just say, ignore the noise?
No, you know what I'd like him to do? I'd like him to put his money where his mouth is and say, we're going to look at all the Republicans we spend money on, we give campaign finance contributions to, and tell every single one of them, get this done. Get this done. Get this over with. And by the way, it's not Jamie Dimon. It's virtually every business leader thinks this is ridiculous. No business gets to say, oh, we're going to threaten not to pay our bills and see what happens. If you do that, your credit rating goes down the tubes. Nobody wants to loan you money and you can't do business. So anybody who runs a business thinks this is completely ridiculous, and it really is. If you want to address the deficit, do it in other ways.